Welcome back to e-commerce psychology. Ready to dive into another juicy topic today?
Always. What do we got?
Well, a listener sent in this article about building authority for your online store called The Science of Authority, Building Credibility in Your E-commerce Store. It's from a website called E-commerce Psychology, fittingly enough.
Ooh, that's a good one. Authority is like the secret sauce for any e-commerce business.
Yeah, it's not just about flashy marketing or like the cheapest prices.
Right. It goes deeper than that.
So we've got our expert here today ready to help us unpack all this good stuff and give us some like actionable takeaways, right?
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
So the article kicks things off by defining authority as this kind of blend of trust and credibility.
Yeah.
Seems straightforward, but I feel like there's got to be more to it, especially in the e-commerce world.
Oh, there definitely is. It's interesting how the whole concept of authority has kind of shifted from the physical world to, the digital one.
Right, like back in the day, you judge a shop by its location or like how long it's been around, but online.
Yeah. It's a whole different ballgame.
So how do we even judge authority online? What are those new signals we're looking for?
Well, Google actually has this framework called EEAT, which stands for Experience, Expertise, Authoritativeness, and Trustworthiness. It's what they use to size up websites.
EEAT. So this is how Google ranks sites.
Exactly. And it also plays a huge role in how your customers see you. Like, do they trust you?
Okay. So it's not just for algorithms, it's for actual people too.
Right.
But why does all this EEAT stuff even matter to my bottom line?
Because authority directly impacts, whether a customer will buy from you or not. Think about it. You're way more likely to trust a recommendation from an expert than, someone random.
Totally. Like I'd take cooking advice from a famous chef over some random food blog any day.
Exactly. It's the same idea online. When you're seen as an authority, people are more likely to buy from you. They'll spend more and even become loyal repeat customers.
So it's not just about getting them in the door. It's about keeping them coming back for more.
Right. It's that psychology of scarcity. The more authority you have, the more valuable your stuff seems.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So how does our brain actually decide if a website's trustworthy? I know I've definitely made some snap judgments, like just based on how a site looks.
Oh, we all do it. Our brains are wired for quick decisions. And when it comes to websites, we use these mental shortcuts called heuristics.
Heuristics?
Yeah, it's like our brain's way of saying this feels legit or this seems kind of sketchy without really overthinking it.
So first impressions really are everything online.
Pretty much. And those first impressions are usually based on those three pillars of trust: ability, benevolence, and integrity.
Okay, break those down for me.
So ability means you're competent, like you can actually deliver. Benevolence means you actually care about your customers, not just their wallets. And then integrity means you're honest and transparent.
It's like building a house. If one of those pillars is weak, the whole thing could crumble.
Perfect analogy. And that's why this article gets into the psychology behind all of this. Did you know studies have shown that seeing credible imagery actually triggers the reward centers in our brain?
Wow, so it's not just us being picky, there's like a biological basis for it.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Okay, so we've talked about why authority is so important. Now, how do we actually build it for an online store?
Well, the article breaks it down into some core components. And it all starts with the look and feel of your website, those visual and design elements.
So first impressions really do matter. What should we focus on, design-wise?
A clean layout is key. Don't overwhelm people. Easy navigation is huge, too. If people can't find what they're looking for, they'll just leave.
Makes sense. It's like if you walked into a store that was a total mess, you'd probably turn around and walk right out.
Exactly. And those little things like color psychology and clear fonts matter more than you think. They all play into how people see your brand.
Wow, so much goes into good web design. It's not just about making it look pretty.
Right. It's strategic.
So we've got visuals down. What's next?
Content. You got to have high quality product descriptions that actually go deep. Think about the questions your customers might have and answer them right there.
Be helpful, not just salesy.
Exactly. And the whole structure of your site needs to be logical and easy to digest. You're guiding them through the buying process.
All right, but what about social media and reviews? Everyone checks reviews these days.
Ah, yes. Social proof is huge. Testimonials, user-generated content, and even how you handle negative reviews, it all matters.
Because people trust other customers more than they trust, the business itself.
Right. So have a good review system, encourage feedback, and don't be afraid to showcase both the good and the bad.
Wait, really? Why show the negative reviews?
Because it shows you're transparent and real. Addressing those negative reviews head on actually builds more trust than just having a bunch of perfect reviews.
It's like you're human, you make mistakes, but you're also committed to fixing them.
Exactly. And it all ties into transparency. Be upfront about everything: prices, shipping, returns, privacy policies. The more transparent, the more trustworthy.
I love it when a company is just like upfront about all that stuff. No hidden surprises.
Right. And one more thing, don't underestimate the power of your brand story. Let people connect with the humans behind the brand.
It's like letting them peek behind the curtain and see what you're really about.
Exactly.
This is all great, but it feels like we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah.
There's got to be more to building authority.
There is, and that's what we're going to dive into next time. We'll talk about specific tactics, trust signals, and making sure your whole customer journey reinforces that sense of authority.
I'm ready for it. It's getting good. And listeners, don't go anywhere because this deep dive is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.
All right, so let's get tactical. How do we actually boost that authority?
Yeah, let's get into the specifics.
One of the best ways is to really, showcase your expertise. Don't just tell people you're an expert, show them.
I like that. Show, don't tell. Good life advice in general, I think.
Haha, it really is. So think about your industry. What kind of content proves you know your stuff? Like, let's say you sell those kitchen gadgets we mentioned earlier.
Yeah?
You could do blog posts with tips and tricks, maybe some video tutorials, or even like live Q&A sessions with customers.
So that's a good idea. Live Q&A, I like that. Makes you seem super accessible.
Exactly. And if you've got any special training or certifications, shout it from the rooftops. Those are like little credibility badges.
It's like a seal of approval, but from, a real expert source.
Speaking of trusted sources, this article's big on trust signals. They can really amplify your authority.
Okay, tell me more about those. Like, what are some good examples?
Well, visual trust badges are a good start, like security badges from those well-known companies or endorsements from, industry groups. Instant credibility boost.
Right.
Don't overdo it. Too many badges can actually backfire. Makes you look less trustworthy, almost desperate.
So it's a balancing act, right? Reassurance without going overboard.
Yep. And let's talk customer reviews again. Super important for authority.
Oh, yeah. I read reviews for everything before I buy anything online.
Yeah.
It's like my deciding factor.
I get it. So having a strong review system on your site is crucial. Encourage customers to leave feedback, good and bad, and don't just, leave them there.
You mean actually engage with a review?
Yeah, respond to questions, address concerns, show you're listening, even those negative ones.
Even the negative ones. Come on, why?
Because handling them well builds more trust than just having, a wall of praise. It shows you're transparent, that you care.
So you're not hiding anything. You're human.
Exactly. And this ties into transparency in general. Be upfront about everything: pricing, shipping, return policy, privacy stuff. The more open you are, the better.
Oh, yes. I hate those sites with all the hidden fees and confusing policies.
Right. Transparency builds trust. It's that simple. And then, don't forget about telling your brand story. Let people connect with the humans behind the business.
It's like giving your brand a personality, making it relatable.
Exactly. Okay, now remember, building authority isn't just about your homepage. It's got to be woven into the whole customer journey.
So it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process.
Right. From the first touch point, whether it's an ad or a social media post, you're building that authority. Think expertise, trust, transparency right from the start.
So it's all about consistency. Like every interaction reinforces that authority.
Exactly. And this is especially important during the actual buying process. Good product pages, trust badges, helpful recommendations, all that good stuff.
It's like having a, virtual salesperson guiding them through.
And then, even after the purchase, that's where you turn one-time buyers into loyal fans.
What are some ways to, keep that authority going after they've bought something?
Timely delivery updates, smooth returns, easy ways to give feedback. It all contributes to a positive experience. And don't underestimate the power of the little things. A nice package, a personalized note.
Those details matter.
They really do. All right, so with all this talk about building authority, you might be wondering, how do I even know if it's working? And that's where measurement comes in.
Okay, yeah. I'm all about the data. How do we track this stuff?
Of course, conversion rates are important, but it's not just about those numbers. You want to look at things like heat map data, see where people are clicking, feedback surveys, repeat purchases.
Are people actually engaging with the content? Are they leaving good reviews? Are they coming back for more?
Exactly. Those are signs your authority is resonating. And this article talks about A/B testing. That's a great way to see what's really working. Test different versions of your site, different messages, see what sticks.
Like testing those trust badges to see which one performs best.
Exactly. Okay, now, different industries have different approaches, right? What works for a fashion brand might not work for a, tech company.
So how do we tailor these authority-building strategies to different industries?
Good question. Let's take high consideration purchases like luxury cars or fancy jewelry.
Big investment.
You got to go all in on that expertise and trust. Detailed info, expert reviews, maybe even personalized consultations.
Because people need to feel super confident before spending that much.
Right. Now, if you're selling everyday stuff, like snacks or toiletries, convenience and speed are key. Focus on a strong brand, fast shipping, easy returns.
So it's all about knowing your customer
Yeah.
and what matters most to them.
Exactly. And even with the best plans, there can be challenges. Building authority isn't always easy.
Let's talk about those challenges. What are some things to watch out for?
Well, for new brands, it's all about overcoming that initial, trust barrier. You're up against established players who already have that authority.
It's that classic problem, right?
Yeah.
How do you get experience if nobody trusts you enough to give you that experience?
Exactly. So strategic partnerships can help. Team up with influencers, experts in your field, borrow their credibility.
It's like having someone vouch for you.
And don't be afraid to offer really strong guarantees. Show people you stand behind your product.
Like a money-back guarantee.
Yep. Now, even big brands have to be careful. As you grow, maintaining that authority can get tricky.
So what are some pitfalls to watch out for as your business scales?
Consistency is key. Service, website, branding, it all has to stay top-notch. One slip-up can hurt that trust you worked so hard to build.
It's like they say, a reputation takes years to build and seconds to destroy.
And then there's always the chance of a trust breach. Mistakes happen, products have defects, deliveries go wrong. The key is to be transparent about it. Own the problem, communicate clearly, and fix it fast.
Apologize and take action.
Exactly. And one last thing on challenges. Technology is great, but don't forget the human touch. People still want to connect with real people sometimes.
So use tech to enhance the experience, not replace it entirely.
Now let's look ahead. What's the future of authority, especially in e-commerce, which is always changing?
Yeah, what's next? This article talk about any cool new trends.
It does. One thing is new authority signals, like blockchain verification. And have you heard of augmented reality demos?
I have. But how do those build authority?
Well, blockchain can prove a product's authentic, like where it came from. Huge for luxury goods. Imagine scanning a product with your phone and boom, you know it's the real deal.
It's a digital fingerprint for products.
That's cool.
And then AR lets people experience products in a new way. Try on clothes virtually, see how furniture would look in your house, all that.
It makes online shopping more, tangible.
And then there's AI. It's already big in e-commerce, and it's only getting smarter. Personalized recommendations, predicting what trust signals work best.
Like a shopping assistant that knows you better than you know yourself.
Kinda. But with all this tech, we got to use it ethically. People shouldn't feel manipulated. So transparency is still key, even with fancy new tech.
Absolutely. Another trend is cross-platform consistency. Your brand needs to project the same authority everywhere, your website, social media, Amazon, all of it.
Why is that so important?
Because inconsistency erodes trust. Imagine a brand that's super professional on their website, but then, totally different on social media. It's confusing.
Yeah, it's like, which one is the real brand? It makes you question everything.
Right. So the future of authority is about embracing tech, but always using it to enhance that human element.
Yeah.
Building real relationships with customers, earning their trust, and staying true to your values.
This has been seriously eye-opening. I feel like I understand authority on a whole new level now.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. You keep learning, keep refining your approach, and keep building those connections.
This is great. I think our listeners probably feeling super inspired to go out there and build their own e-commerce empire.
I hope so. It's been great chatting with you about all this.
Wow, we've covered so much today. I feel like from the psychology of authority to all those trends we talked about, this article is a masterclass.
It really is. Authority is the backbone of any successful online business, that's for sure.
And it's not a, like, set it and forget it kind of thing either.
Definitely not. It's always evolving. You're always learning, deepening those connections with your customers, refining your approach.
It's like a garden, right? You got to tend to it, nurture it. Things change, you adapt.
I love that analogy. And speaking of adapting, what works for one business might not work for another. Find what resonates with your people, your brand. That's key.
So for our listeners who are ready to, take all this info and actually build their authority, what are the top takeaways? What can they start doing today?
Okay, so first impressions are huge, right? Your website has to be clean, well-designed, easy to use. It's like digital curb appeal.
You want people to feel good the second they land on your site.
Exactly. And then content is king, as they say. Showcase your expertise, whether it's through in-depth product descriptions, blog posts, video tutorials, whatever shows off your knowledge.
And don't be shy about those testimonials. Social proof is powerful.
Absolutely. And then just remember that consistency is key. Make sure your brand, your message, those authority signals are all aligned everywhere.
So from their first click to, even after they've bought something, they're getting that same message of authority from you.
You got it. At the end of the day, building authority is really about building relationships. It's about connecting with your customers, showing them you get them, you care about their needs, and you're trustworthy.
It's not about tricks or hacks. It's about being genuine.
Exactly. So be patient, be consistent, and never stop learning.
This has been an awesome deep dive. I feel like we've really unpacked this whole authority thing. So listeners, go out there, build those connections, create that amazing brand. And remember, this podcast was powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.